This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. We're on the north side of Chicago. It's another cold day here at Wrigley Field. Game number 2, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Chicago Cubs. And along with Jim Hayes, Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to Cardinals baseball. We're about 20 minutes away from our first pitch. And Jimmy, take me inside the clubhouse right now. We've had a couple of cancellations. The weather has been brutal. It's not good today. What's that like for a player?
Well, it's just another day of trying to stay warm, but today is a good day because the sun is out. Anything's better than a night game with the cold wind, and today you can get out on the field, at least the sun is at your back, and what you're trying to do is get through the day, stay safe, stay sound, and get a win and go home.
Well, the Cardinals are trying to make this a perfect road trip. They swept Cincinnati, took game 1 of this series. It's a look at our BJC difference maker. The offense on the road trip, very good. Look at the home runs. The Cardinals have hit 10 in the 5 games so far, and they've scored 32 runs. It's not, though, just about the offense. The starters in particular, very good. 5-0, ERA just over 2. And in those games with 50 strikeouts, so the starting pitching very good thus far.
Yeah, both sides of the ball on this road trip have been fantastic, and you can only think that it's going to get better when the weather warms up.
The all-time series at Wrigley Field. This is interesting. A ton of games, 125 seasons, and yet separated by 15 runs. That's it, as the Cubs and Cardinals will play in game number 2 here this afternoon at Wrigley. Much more to come before our first pitch. John Lester and Luke Weaver. And Bud Norris has been very good. The studio has that when we come back. Brought to you by Steak and Shake. Mix and match any 2 items for just $3. Better burgers, better prices, Steak and Shake. By Missouri Baptist Medical Center. Doctors call it world-class medicine. You'll call it MoBap. And by Toyota. Let's go places. And welcome back to Wrigley Field along with Jim Edmonds, the Cardinals Hall of Famer. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is with us as well. Obviously, Luke Weaver has been very good to start this 2018 season.
Yes, he has. He's done a good job this year, and I think it stems back from last year, up and down a little bit, but getting a chance to pitch on this team consistently, learning a lot as it goes along, and a little maturity too.
His record 2-0. The ERA is just over 2. Opponents hitting under 200 against him, and he's striking out a lot of batters. He's coming off a good start against Cincinnati. Meanwhile, the curveball usage has been up. Remember when he was initially called up, ironically made his Major League debut at this ballpark, it was at 6.9%, and now it's at 20% for Luke Weaver. Let's bring in Jim Hayes, who's downstairs on the field. And Jimmy, Luke Weaver off to a great start this year.
Yeah, Dan, Luke impressed an awful lot of people with the way he pitched late in the season last year, and he has carried it over into this season. In fact, Mike Matheny says Luke has taken it to another level.
He's been a guy who, even early on, he was making good pitches, but just off the plate, and I think he's been able to figure out a little more when to use the plate, when to expand, and he's capable of making pitches that just incrementally work themselves off to get into off the good part of the bat for the hitter. So it's just a unique mix of what he's able to do.
Since August 2nd, Luke Weaver has won 9 of his 12 starts. Dan, that's tops in the National League.
Yeah, and if you go back to last year, last August, he is 9-1. That one loss was against the Cubs. It's the Cubs and Cardinals coming up. It's game 2 of 19 matchups this year. We're at Wrigley, a cold day here in the Windy City. Game number 2 of the brief series is coming up. Road trip on a very cold afternoon once again here at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Welcome in. Along with Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is here as well. The St. Louis Cardinals, a 4-game sweep against Cincinnati. They won game 1 of this series. They're now 10-7 on the year, and the Chicago Cubs are 7-8. The Cardinals lineup: Dexter Fowler, the switch hitter, followed by Harrison Bader. He'll play center field today. Matt Carpenter at second base. Marcelo Zuna, Jose Martinez, Yadier Molina, Jed Jerko, Paul DeYoung, big home run the other night. And the pitcher batting ninth, that's Luke Weaver. John Lester allowed 4 earned in 5 innings, took a no decision in a Cubs 13-5 win over the Pirates. That was his last start back on April 11th, so he hasn't pitched for a while. Jimmy, the Cubs have had 5 postponements, 4 already here at Wrigley, and that can mess up the rhythm of a starting staff and certainly of a starting pitcher.
It definitely can, and that's the job of the manager, to juggle. Sometimes it's sad to say, but the 4th and 5th starters sometimes have to take a back seat to get your guys on schedule. But you see that around baseball this year. It's been a tough April for a lot of teams, and that's just part of the game. Injuries are part of the game, and this cold weather is going to be a part of the game, obviously, this year. So whoever makes the best adjustments this year in April are going to be on top of the standings come May 1st.
Take a look at our Toyota keys to the game. What do you have here, Jimmy?
Well, I think Luke Weaver is going to have to go out there and keep the big bats of the Cubs cold, and especially in this weather. Wind is not that big of a factor today, but that's obviously the pitcher's job today. And I would go with the offenses. Just get to Lester early. Don't let him settle into a rhythm, especially comfortable here at home, and we all know he's a big game pitcher.
And the first pitch is taken for a ball, and we're underway. Fowler, the switch hitter, hitting .071 from this side of the plate. Lines it out to left. And the catch is made on the track by Schwarber. Hit that right on the button.
Kind of what I'm talking about right there. Go out there and swing the bat. Get a pitch in the zone so he cannot pound that cutter inside, and be ready to attack when you get a pitch over the plate.
There's 105 miles per hour off the bat of Dexter Fowler. 1 out, and here is Harrison Bader. In his last start, he was the offense for the Cardinals. That was Sunday in Cincinnati. Had a 2-run homer against Homer Bailey. Bader hitting .235 with that 1 home run, and he's driven in 2. He's in center today, and Tommy Pham, a cool afternoon, nursing a sore groin, is not in the lineup. And if the first 2 hitters are any indication, we've got a very tight strike zone from the crew chief, Jeff Nelson, calling the balls and strikes.
Well, and then maybe not.
There's Tommy. Talked to him yesterday at the team hotel. He said he is ready to roll. Could have played today, but we'll see if he comes off the bench and pinch hits.
Which team hotel would that be, Danny? First one or the second one?
Well, we had to move, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
As Bader is hit by the pitch, and it brings in Carpenter. Ouch. Cold day. That can't feel good. But Bader is aboard. And now it's the game within the game. John Lester, his struggles of throwing over to first base. Cardinals will get some sizable leads, I'm sure. And Bader certainly is a threat to steal. Well documented, the issues that Lester has had throwing to first base.
I think that you kind of have to, we've seen both ways to handle this. Small lead, try to steal. Big lead, get him to throw over. I think what you got to do against a guy like this is get a pretty good lead, but not crazy, so he doesn't pay attention, and then just go.
Bader is running, and the throw hits him. Into shallow left it goes, and Harrison on his way to third.
Just like that right there. Great job by Harrison. Getting a good jump, not being off the base too much, and just going on first movement. And now 2 bruises, and he's standing on third base.
So the stolen base, and then the error on Contreras. I still like it, though, Jimmy. I understand both ways to look at it, but I'd love to see the Cardinals be aggressive, make Lester make plays.
I mean, it really just goes on. You get his time, right? If you get his time, and he's average to the plate, and then you get a good jump with speed, you're going to steal the base. So if you don't draw attention to him and you just get that first movement and go, the base is there for you to steal. It's when you draw too much attention and then he starts holding the ball and then he will step off and maybe pick over. As soon as you hesitate, game over.
It was a first error by a Cubs catcher this year. A ball and 2 strikes on Carpenter. Has not had a lot of success against Lester. The infield is drawn in. Good play by Contreras to keep that in front. And it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jose Oquendo, boy, he's always teaching, isn't he? Talking about leads, what your read is, what you do on a ground ball, you freeze on a line drive. I mean, all those things that come into play for a runner at third.
Well, that's just part of his game. He's so knowledgeable, but right now everyone knows what's going on, but he's reminding you of the things that you can forget while you're in the heat of the moment.
The 2-2 hit out of play. Carpenter just 5 for 34, 11 strikeouts against John Lester. He drove in 3 in game 1. Three and 2. Left-handed batter against Lester. How tough is this challenge?
I think you just have to stay out over the plate. You know his ball is going to cut away from you. Got to give up the inner half. Hopefully he doesn't throw it there, especially early in the count. Just really have to be disciplined and swing at strikes.
The 3-2 lined into a double play. Oh, they throw it away. Would have been a double play. Bader back to the bag at third, and Baez had all the time in the world to turn 2. The Cardinals catch a break.
Take a look here. Sometimes this happens so fast. You don't really turn to look at the runner first. And doing a good job of getting rid of the ball, but you're right. He had all the time in the world, and there you go with that cold weather, maybe a little stiffer, and standing out there for 10-15 minutes already. So definitely in the favor of the Cardinals on that one.
There's Marcell Ozuna, 3 for 8 in his career against John Lester. Went 0 for 4, but did have a ground out and an RBI in game 1. The breaking ball, and strike 1 on Ozuna. Cardinals return home tomorrow. They'll face the Cincinnati Reds, a weekend series. The 0-1 gets away. Here comes Bader, and he will score. Harrison Bader making things happen with his speed, and it's 1-0 Cardinals.
So we're talking about getting him in the game with that speed. So many things you can do with speed, and you can see this ball really doesn't even get away, but he does a really good job of great read, does not go back to the bag. John Lester, not even in the picture. So even if Contreras gets to that ball quick enough, but Bader beats the pitcher basically to the plate. So speed can kill, as they say.
We talked about getting to Lester early, and the Cardinals have done that. The wild pitch, and it scores Harrison Bader. Cubs, for all intents and purposes, should have been out of the inning, and the Cardinals get a run without a hit. The strikeout of Ozuna. First strikeout for Lester. Bader hit by a pitch, then the steal, advanced to third and scored. Cool hand Luke. Mr. Weaver's coming up. allowed by the Cubs this year. And it's 1-0 after a half inning. Luke Weaver last pitched on Friday in Cincinnati. 2 earned runs, 6 innings against the Reds, picked up the win. What would be a 5-3 victory. Made his major league debut a couple of years ago in this ballpark. And a look at his Hyundai pitch arsenal. Cardinals had called up that weekend both Weaver and Alex Reyes. And the first pitch is strike. Albert Almora Jr. batting .276, really good defender. 1 home run and has driven in 3. Oh, 2. Weaver has just gotten better and better and better since that major league debut.
Yeah, I think, you know, you come up and you get a little hyped and you try to overthrow like he did, and you saw him settle down even in his second and third start. So just as you grow, and I think that's what you said about earlier in the day about the curveball percentage, you start to learn to pitch. You know, you can't just go out there and overthrow all the time. He's even got good movement, and you still have to learn how to pitch and get ground balls and really move the ball around. So I think the maturity level definitely adds to that curveball percentage, but you're right, he's definitely settled down and become a much better pitcher.
Has the look of a guy that knows that he belongs to. In our lineup, Almora, Baez, and Bryant here in the first. Rizzo, Contreras, and Schwarber. Russell, Hayward, and the pitcher John Lester. It's another 0-2 pitch put in play. Jed Jerko is there. 1 away. His last 12 starts, 9-1, going back to last August. And his only loss in that stretch against the Cubs. It was a career worst 8 earned in 3 innings. Didn't have it that night, but every 5th day it seems like Luke Weaver is ready to roll. Here's Javi Baez. Not a great average, but good power numbers to start the year. 3 for 4, a double, 2-run homer in game 1. He has 12 hits so far this season, with 10 of the 12 going for extra bases. And he rips that into the gap in right center, and extra bases here. And Baez is now on his way to third. It was mishandled by Fowler in right. He bobbled it. And that allows Baez to take third base. He was happy to stop at second and winds up at third.
Good swing by Baez, a little hanging breaking ball. And you're right, he was going to stop at second base, but the play being in front of you, you can see what's going on, and you can see right there, he's never really gave up. He just slowly started to break it down, but good. I think it's a good job with that read right there. And you always like there's the speed and the energy. It's the same thing with Bader. You know, you get those guys out there, they get on base, they make things happen.
Here's Chris Bryant, infield drawn in, and ball 1.
If Chris Bryant or Anthony Rizzo's running, Dexter Fowler takes his time, picks up that ball, lobs it in, but he knows there's a chance with this back turn that Baez could keep running to third even on that play. So you're trying to hurry and get it in, and it causes that bobble.
The 1-0. Popped up and out of play. Chris Bryant, second currently in on-base percentage in the National League at .473. Infield in, 1 ball and 1 strike. Jose Oquendo moving Matt Carpenter closer to the bag at second. Jose Martinez well off the line at first base. Two balls and 1 strike. Mentioned the other night on Tuesday, it was the 3-year anniversary of Bryant making his major league debut. 2 All-Star appearances, an MVP, the Rookie of the Year. Quite a player. 2-2. One thing that you can do with Bryant, at times he will expand his strike zone. So with that power and production, it also comes along with some strikeouts.
Well, it's a perfect opportunity here. A guy like Luke Weaver is the guy that will expand this. Good hard sinker, good four-seam fastball, but in the mid-90s with the breaking ball, or having the breaking ball after the mid-90s, but that's the kind of guy you get Chris Bryant to speed up a little bit with.
2-2 is off the glove of Jerko and into shallow left field. It's a base hit for Chris Bryant. That'll score Baez to make it a 1-1 game. Not a bad pitch.
Decent pitch, just a changeup. Got a little too much of the plate, but he does such a good job of staying on the ball. I think that's talking about making him chase. You really got to get it out of the zone. Because he's got such long arms, and he has a great ability to slow down his swing and stay on the pitch.
Anthony Rizzo, 3 for his first 31. Does have 1 home run. He's driven in 3. Returned to the starting lineup on Tuesday. Had been dealing with a sore back and was on the 10-day DL. Short lead at first by Bryant. 2 balls and no strikes. Look up and down the Cubs lineup, Jimmy. It is unforgiving. Not a lot of outs in this lineup.
That's what makes them so good.
Yep.
You know, they've been successful with being able to play defense, being able to pitch, and then having a lineup that's just nonstop all the way from top to bottom.
Players here at the ballpark are bundled up. Mike Matheny telling us if the dugouts had not been reconfigured prior to this year, probably could not have played the other night. And his point was there's heaters on both sides. The dugout is actually warm, where in years past that was not the case, and you're battling the elements. It was awful the other night.
Yeah, the key to being able to play in this weather is getting out of the elements for a half inning when you're in the dugout and warming up. And if you can't do that, the longer the day goes, the colder you get, and it's really hard to come back from that.
Swinging on 3-0 and a base hit into right. Bryant will stop at second base. That's 3 consecutive hits now for the Cubs. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Ozuna, Bader, Fowler in the outfield. Jerko, DeYoung, Carpenter, and Martinez on the infield. Yadier Molina is behind the plate. Runners at first and second, and Wilson Contreras. Strike 1. Outfield just about straight away. A little bit surprising, but for Anthony Rizzo, only his second career hit on a 3-0 pitch, and the first time he had done that since 2012.
Wow.
Figured he's always got the green light on 3-0. Could do some damage. Been watching closely Harrison Bader. Obviously not an easy place to play defense, especially as a center fielder. And Jimmy, you did it a bunch here, and especially with a cold day in the wind. You got to change, it seems like, pitch by pitch.
You do. You got to keep an eye on that wind. It really does move around a lot. It was blowing straight over to right field, and now it's blowing straight in. I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier to play defense on this field now than it used to be. way they've done wonders to this field, and it's so flat. The grass is so much better now, so much shorter. The playing surface is so much better. But you're right, early on in your career, this is a tough place to play.
And now the wind is blowing to right. 2 pitches ago, it was coming in. That's out of play.
This is a place, too, you have to play the wind. You really have to take advantage of that wind blowing in. You don't have to be as deep. You just got to have confidence that you can go back on the ball and the ball's going to die. I mean, if someone hits the ball over your head here in the day like today, pretty much a chance it's not going out. So it's going to have to be a line drive that's just going to barely get over your head.
2-2 the count. A strikeout of Contreras. And the first of the afternoon for Luke Weaver.
I like this pitch right here. I think that sometimes you fall into patterns of getting ahead, which he did a little bit, and then throwing breaking ball and changeup. You get good hitters start looking for your best pitch, which late in the count is the breaking ball or the changeup to put you away. And so you get guys start sitting soft late in the count. You have to go back to that fastball and blow some guys away in order to get them off of your off-speed pitches.
Here's Kyle Schwarber with 2 outs. Last time that Schwarber faced Weaver in 2013 was the NCAA Tallahassee Super Regional. Weaver was pitching for Florida State and Schwarber hitting for Indiana.
I like to know where you came up with that info.
That's a base hit into center. This will make it a 2-1 Chicago lead. Schwarber with the base hit. And the 4th hit for the Cubs here in the bottom of the 1st. Let's take a look at the pitch. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks.
Another breaking ball down the middle. Pitches down. Just got a little too much plate. I think, forget some of these guys how good of hitters they are. Schwarber's a good breaking ball hitter. You see him, he's had some trouble with the fastball up. He'll chase a little bit, but down in the zone, he's pretty solid. And when you got to make your pitch, you really got to make quality pitches.
Now Addison Russell. He's ruled the play by Baez, or the hit for Baez, a triple.
Wow.
So no error on Dexter Fowler.
I think the official scorer went to the bathroom in the middle of that play.
Man, oh man.
Came back out and he's standing on third. I like the hometown scoreboard right there, right?
Absolutely. One ball and 1 strike. Good pitch at 94. Weaver does have a very good fastball. Seems like it's got a little extra at the end.
Little jump today.
And the 1-2 pitch. Inning started with a ground out by Almora. Triple by Baez. Bryant, the RBI base hit to left. Rizzo on a 3-0 pitch, base hit to right. Contreras struck out. And a 2-out single by Schwarber. Out to center. Bader with the catch. Joe Madden and the Cubs a 2-1 lead.
The defense behind him, Schwarber, Almora, and Hayward in the outfield. Around the horn presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Bryant, Russell, Baez, and Rizzo along the infield, and Wilson Contreras is behind the plate. It'll be Martinez, Molina, and Jerko coming up. There's Tommy Pham with Willie McGee, and with more on that, let's check in with Jim.
Dan, as you mentioned, Pham not in the lineup as a precaution after he dealt with a minor groin issue Tuesday night. Tommy told me before the game, I'm fine, I could play today. Pham did not have an MRI but underwent other testing yesterday and passed everything. Mike Matheny told me these cold days are rough on anyone who's feeling something. We just want to be careful. So, Dan, that's what they're doing.
And there's a strike to Jose Martinez. I would assume we'd see Tommy back in the starting lineup tomorrow at home at Busch Stadium. Good seats still remain. And it's 0-2. .339 the average for Jose Martinez. It seems like when you have a good road trip, the excitement builds back home in St. Louis, and the crowds will increase, and weather is supposed to be nice this weekend, so come on out. Strikeout of Martinez. And with that, it brings in Yadier Molina. Arcia drive to success. One of the Cardinals with pretty good numbers against Lester. .343 average. 3 doubles, the home run. That's drilled deep left center field at the wall, and it's caught. Warm day, and that's probably out of here.
It's a great play right there to show you what the wind does. This might not be a home run. Actually, it might be a home run, but he hits this ball hard and it just gets knocked down. I thought this for sure was a double over his head, but that's a good job by Almora right there, knowing where he can get to when the ball's hit over his head, getting back there and making the play.
So with 2 outs, it's Jed Jerko.
Ideally, you'd like to catch that ball before you run into the brick wall out there in the outfield.
Jerko is 3 for 6 so far this year with an RBI. The 2-0 pitch. It's the second time that in 2 innings I've seen Lester just stare back at the home plate umpire. You know, he gets frustrated with that strike zone.
He wants that pitch out there. It's interesting, I was going to say it earlier. Watch these guys hitting against Lester today. See if they start to leak a little bit with their left front shoulder, because he's such one of those guys that likes to pitch in, and he gets outs by throwing the ball in on the inner half and running it off the plate in there. So as a hitter, you start to look for that. I saw a couple of times earlier in the counts guys pulling off just a little bit, and then that strike on the outside half is impossible to touch. And so he's been kind of throwing the ball out over the plate early on, just trying to get the hitters off that inside pitch so he can go back to that later in the game. Now he wants that pitch for a strike, even though it's off the plate.
13 balls, 13 strikes so far. And a strike 2 to Young. He was just the 4th Cardinal ever with 4 strikeouts and a homer in a game. That happened in game 1. He's up to 5 home runs this year. And lifts a fly ball out to shallow right, and Jason Hayward is there to make the catch. We are midway through 2, and it's 2-1 Chicago. You can stream games live on your mobile device. Download the Fox Sports Go app, log in, and stream the Cardinals. It's presented by T-Mobile. The bottom of the second rolls in. 4 hits for the Cubs in the top of the first. Triple by Baez, Bryant the base hit, as well as Rizzo on a 3-0 count, and then Kyle Schwarber the RBI base hit. A strike to Jason Hayward, hitting .204. And a base hit to left.
See another replay of the hitters, and pretty much all of the balls that have been hit, other than the breaking balls, have been up in the zone but down the middle. He's trying to get the ball in right there, but it ran back across. So sometimes the two-seamer, when you throw it in, you got to try and find a way to keep it in there against a lefty. If it runs back, it ends up down the middle, and good pitch to hit.
Now Lester, Jerko charging in at third. And strike one. Reminder that tomorrow is the pullover jersey giveaway. Also the Grateful Dead Night tribute Dexter Fowler giveaway on Saturday. And then Sunday, kids will get a ticket voucher for a future game. Yadier Molina Kids Players Weekend jersey giveaway. So a lot of stuff happening at the ballpark this weekend. And Hayward back in safely. Always something to do at the ballpark. And if you go, you might be able to even watch a game.
I was going to say, and then a baseball game breaks out.
That's right.
Keep them interested.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Lester deadens it. Weaver thought about going to second. And the sacrifice is good. His first sacrifice this year. It's a whole new ball game with RBI Baseball 18. RBI Baseball 18 delivers an all-new franchise mode and much more. RBI Baseball 18 available now. Learn more at rbigame.com. Rate E for everyone. Albert Almora Jr. The Cubs the other night went 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. And coming into the ball game today, hitting .191 on the year. Only the Giants have been worse with runners in scoring position this season.
You look at that and you see struggles, right? But if you look at that as your Joe Madden, what does that mean to you? It can only get better.
Yeah.
So if you can keep your head above water, it's just going to get better.
You just start looking at the names in the lineup. They got off to a very slow start in this regard a year ago. Had a terrific second half. The 0-2.
Joe Madden was very aware of that last year too. He was very aware that his team was going to get off to a slow start. He said, if I can give these guys enough rest and get them to stay right around 500 and stay within, you know, the leaders, that they're going to come around from the World Series hangover, and did a good job. And I think being vocal about that, it let everyone know that he knew what he was doing, and he got away with it.
A broken bat and a base hit into right field. A run will score, and this makes it 3-1 Chicago.
It's just a good piece of hitting, and hitting in the right spot on the infield. Is nothing behind that. Broken bat. Pretty good pitch, but up in the zone again. Just got it through the infield for a base hit and an RBI.
But 6 hits already for the Cubs, and it brings in Baez, who tripled Into the gap in right center, first time up. You were part of championship clubs. Is it true the World Series or postseason hangover that a team can have?
Well, I mean, I think what it does is it puts you a month behind of your normal routine. I mean, obviously you would love to go to the World Series, right? But there's no doubt that that extra 2 weeks, let's say if you're a normal playoff team, then you get to the World Series, you get home, you're not going right to work. You need a break, and you probably at least have a week left in your city where you're at, and then you go home for a week or two. So you're definitely at least a month behind, if not a little bit more. And it has a lot to do with recovery, strength when you're lifting weights, and just overall just timing of getting ready to go back to spring training. So yeah, I think it can mess with you as a group for sure.
Here's a 2-0. Oof. Boy, Baez, he loads up in a hitter's count, and he is there to do some damage.
Yeah, he's one of those guys you have to concentrate on making pitches, and when you're going to throw a breaking ball up there, it's got to be buried, and you cannot leave. Even if you have good stuff, you cannot leave breaking balls and changeups over the plate for him to swing at. He's got the ability to kind of hesitate a little bit and then unload.
We saw that graphic the last 5 years. It's either been St. Louis or Chicago for that division championship. Now the 2-1.
That's the pitch you got to make right there. You got to make it look like a strike, and it's got to end up out of the zone. Got to get him starting to swing, and then you can see that ball just kind of rides out of the zone. That's not even a great pitch, but yet the fact that he's getting challenged with the fastball and he was a tad bit late got him to speed up enough where he was cheating a little bit.
2-2 the count on Baez. That's out of play. You mentioned the other day about not only the core of this group being young, but it's athletic, and maybe at the top of that list, young man at the plate, Javi Baez. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, and he's definitely matured over the last couple of years, and I think that's something that this Chicago Cubs organization has allowed for him to grow on his own schedule, basically.
A base hit into right field. It'll be first and third and one out. And the big bats coming up for the Cubs. 3 hits in this inning.
This is another pitch right here. You can see normally he's got some run and some sink, but when he's getting hit right now, his ball is staying up in the zone, and it's not really tailing as much as he normally would see with Weaver. And I don't know if it's just a little stiff because of the cold. He's not really getting finished, but he definitely doesn't have any downward angle to his sinker today. He's just really getting under the ball and kind of pushing it. But he struggled here before in Chicago, and maybe sometimes this is your place. You know, this is the place where you don't feel super comfortable, and it's just inches, centimeters off of just being super comfortable, which allows allows that ball after it travels 60 feet 6 inches to just be a little bit off and down the middle, and can cause some trouble.
He's struggling today. It's a season high in hits allowed. Consider that. The previous high was 5 against the Mets. Their GMC leaderboard, the lowest starters ERA, and the Cardinals are in the top 5 of all of baseball. Bryant with a drive. Deep left center. Bader back at the wall and makes the catch. Both runners will tag up. One will score. And the Cubs add to their lead. It's now 4-1.
Well, you just saw a really, really good example of a home run taken away because of the wind. Another ball up in the zone. Chris Bryant's got so much power that he doesn't even have to swing home. He got extension, but just a little bit too much air. Another thing I'm noticing with Weaver too today is really not pitching in, especially to the righties. So the first time around, the guys were kind of bailing a little bit. He was getting strikes off the plate, but now they're starting to understand what he's doing, and they're starting to attack the outer half of the plate. If you don't get hitters to respect the inside part of the plate. Eventually they will catch up with everything, and it's easier to hit the breaking ball, the changeup, when you don't have to worry about the inner half.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Rizzo. 1 ball, 1 strike. 4 hits in the first and 3 more here in the second, and a 4-1 Cubs lead. Time is called. Well, both outs this inning have been productive ones. The sacrifice by Lester and the sac fly RBI by Bryant. That's up the middle, past DeYoung and into center field. Bader will fire to the plate, and it's not in time, and that makes it a 5-1 Cubs lead. That ball scooting through. Rizzo to second base. 5-1 Chicago. It's a single and RBI. Took second on the throw. And here's Wilson Contreras. Eight hits already for the Cubs and a 5-1 Chicago lead. Yeah, it looks like one of those days for Luke Weaver where you just don't have it. Two balls and 1 strike. Two and two. Your point is valid there, and that's a good example, Jimmy. A lot of comfortable swings in this game against Weaver thus far.
Another ball up in the zone right there. It seems like when it's up, they're going after it.
And that pitch inside, and he hits Contreras. Well, you're Mike Matheny, and you're thinking about, well, let's get through this inning and see if he can't regroup, get that third out, and get 2 or 3 more innings before he has to go to his bullpen. Pitch count at 52. 29 pitches in the first, 23 in this inning, and here's Schwarber. Runners at first and second. He had a 2-out RBI in the first, and takes strike 1.
I mean, just watching this game, he's really comfortable throwing the ball in the inside half to the lefties and the outer half to the righties. He hasn't really been able to get the ball to the other side of the plate yet.
And a base hit into left field. A run will score. Schwarber 2 for 2 with a pair of RBI. And it's all Chicago here early on.
Another ball up in the zone right there. True, I just have to say, we haven't seen enough of him, right? I mean, we have seen him pitch over the last year and a half, but can't really tell if he's just getting underneath the ball a little bit, which is just keeping it a little flatter than normal.
6-1 Cubs. 4 runs here in the second inning after 2 in the first. And Russell, the 9th man to go to the dish as Matt Bowman starts to throw. Runners at first and second. Find it interesting in a day in which the Cardinals go with one less out in their bullpen, and you may have a very short outing here from Luke Weaver. Tyler O'Neill was called up prior to the game, and we'll look more on that transaction in the later innings. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Broke his bat, and a flip to Young to Carpenter. Big inning for the Cubs. They bat around 6-1 after 2. Brought to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. By Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. And by Sling. Live TV you love, only better. Luke Weaver to start things off here in the third. A very cold day. Construction around the ballpark as Weaver lifts a fly ball into left. Schwarber calling for it for the first out. Baseball is such a different, odd, weird game. First game of the series was the first time since 1913 in which the Cardinals had 14 or more strikeouts and 10 or more walks. And then today, you face a guy like Lester, doesn't walk many. Before it's all said and done, he'll probably have 6 to 8 strikeouts at least. Every day, every night is different. 0-2 on Fowler, who lined out to left field. 2 years here in Chicago. First year batted .250. Did have a high on-base percentage. Led off Game 7 of the World Series with a home run. Today, the 100th start for John Lester since signing with the Cubs prior to the 2015 campaign. Strikeout of Fowler, number 3 today. Monday, May 7th, the Cardinals will celebrate the Super Bowl champion and recent Pro Football Hall of Fame inductee Kurt Warner. Fans who purchase a special Kurt Warner themed ticket receive a one-of-a-kind Warner Hall of Fame bobblehead. Tickets at cardinals.com/theme. St. Louis was mentioned and then voted on as the best sports city in America. My partner Jim Edmonds was on the cover of the Sporting News with Kurt Warner and Chris Pronger.
It's a pretty cool photo.
Sure is. It's fouled back.
And all 3 of us took that picture without even knowing.
So you did it individually and then they put you all together.
The beauty of photography.
Do you know Kurt Warner well?
Yeah. Well enough.
What a great story.
Pretty good guy, too.
Oh, man.
The best.
One and 2, the count on Bader. Hit by a pitch. Stole the base. Then scored on a wild pitch. Pulls it foul. Cardinals in search of their first base hit. Warner went to the Giants and then eventually Arizona, reinvented himself. Went back to the Super Bowl. Truly one of the great sports stories ever. 2-2.
Went from boxing groceries, right?
Yep.
To the Hall of Fame. Pretty amazing.
Indoor Football League and got a shot. The 2-2 pitch. Spoiled by Bader. Well, Lester doesn't throw a lot of breaking balls, but he's got that cutter. And
you see that pitch that he threw to Fowler, that fastball, cutter, slider, whatever, cutter, slider in the inner half that really ran inside. Well, that is the reason why Harrison Bader takes a swing like that on a breaking ball away. You know that that pitch is in there somewhere, and you just don't know when he's going to throw it.
John Lester has allowed 4 earned or more in only 10 of his last 35 starts. So you get the idea. It'd be tough to come back against this lefty. 3-2 pitch. And the Cubs, their starters have been the issue with this slow start. 3rd worst ERA in all of baseball. It's over 5.5 collectively. Now the Cubs have won all 3 of Lester's starts. 4-8 the record with anybody else on the mound. And Bader pops it up. Rizzo over, and it is dropped. As he and Baez come together, and it's dropped.
The funny thing is, that ball goes up in the air. I almost said, watch this, because I thought that ball was going to end up in the stands. The ball actually came back once it got below the stadium. It's just a bad job of communicating right there. That's all it is. That ball should be caught probably 99 out of 100 times. It's a tough play on Rizzo, especially going into that sun.
Air is charged to Baez on the play, his 3rd. This would be the 10th pitch in this at bat. And Bader hits it out to left field, but Schwarber is there to make the catch. Midway through 3, 6-1 Cubs. calls that may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of your St. Louis Cardinals. With Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes with us as well. Here's Jason Hayward. And a high fly ball lifted into center. Coming in a few steps. Bader, one pitch, one out. Big happy birthday wishes to Ernie Moore, Cardinals clubhouse manager. Ernie, happy birthday and thank you for everything you do for us. Those guys, especially on a trip like this, they have been busy. A lot of long hours.
You picked a good trip to stay home from.
Mark Walsh on the trip with us through Cincinnati and Chicago, but happy birthday, Ernie. One of our favorites. There's John Lester. Cardinals have won 5 in a row, and their starters a big reason why. In those 5 games, an ERA of 1.80. But not today. It's been a tough start for Luke Weaver. Three and one. Lester trying to pick up his first hit this year. 0 for 7. And a full count. 3-2, and he struck him out. All Sundays this weekend, as a matter of fact, starting 2 hours prior to every home game. Enjoy games, prizes, free North Star ice cream treats. That's all in the Ford Plaza presented by Prairie Farms. Second strikeout for Luke Weaver. Albert Almora, the hitter. And we go back to the top of the lineup for the Cubs. And strike one. Tomorrow night, a 7:15 first pitch. Will be on the air at 6:30. Michael Waka and the lefty Brandon Finnegan. That's pulled foul. It's Ramon De Jesus, the third base umpire. And the answer to your question, Jimmy, earlier is yes, I will get you that Grateful Dead t-shirt tomorrow. You were dying to get that t-shirt.
Cannot wait. I mean, you got t-shirts and bobbleheads and baseball and all coming up. Warm weather, hopefully, or at least warmer.
Didn't get much colder.
Nothing here.
A strikeout back-to-back Ks for Luke Weaver, 3 today. And that sends us to inning number 4. out, cold out yesterday, so we've got baseball, what would have been an off day at home for the Cardinals. Cardinals will enjoy an off day on Monday at home. More off days built into the season this year than ever before. And a ball to Carpenter, lined out first time up. So the mesh jersey and Grateful Dead night tomorrow. Dexter Fowler bobblehead is Saturday. Players only jersey for Yadier Molina. That's on Sunday for the kids. And we hope to have great crowds this weekend and warmer weather. The Cincinnati Reds will be in town, and they've made some news today. Reds fired Brian Price as well as their pitching coach Matt Jenkins. And Jim Riggleman is the interim manager. Danny Darwin will be the pitching coach. Reds pitching so far an ERA that's near 6. That's worse than the major leagues. And so Brian Price made his living for a while as a pitching coach, then manager, is gone already in the first month of the regular season.
That was quick.
Scott Schebler has been hurt. Eugenio Suarez, Votto off to a slow start. They're not pitching. That to me is a tough situation. And they don't have a lot of young pitching coming through the minor league system. They're going to have to develop pitchers. It's going to be very tough to, unless you overpay by a lot. They don't seem to be willing to do that, to bring in free agents to pitch in that ballpark.
Well, it's not like they're lining up at the free agent market to pay people. That's a tough job on a manager. Tough job on everyone if you're not going to spend money, right? How do you compete in this league unless you get, you know, a bunch of draft picks and they have to pan out perfectly, and then you add some veterans.
Carpenter with a high fly ball lifted into deep right center field. It's at the wall and caught by Hayward. Baseball, a tough game. Carpenter hit a bullet his first time up, lined out to second, and a 5-time Gold Glover tracks this one down. Any other day, this is a home run.
Home run number 2 taken away by the wind today. And I felt like I used to be that guy that would hit the ball up into the wind every time we were here and hit ground balls when the wind was blowing out. So I know the feeling there, Matt Carpenter.
In steps Marcell Ozuna. Reds will throw Finnegan tomorrow, the lefty. Homer Bailey, who's 0-3 in game 2. Luis Castillo 1-2. Reds are high on that young man. We'll see him on Sunday. Cardinals will counter with Walker tomorrow. Carlos Martinez, he'll go on Saturday. And Miles Michaelis on Sunday. Lester so far with 7 fly ball outs. He has struck out 3. No grounders yet. That's fouled back. Leads us to our Budweiser What's on Tap and a look at the schedule late April going into May. Cardinals have Cincinnati and the Mets coming to St. Louis. And then only 3 games on the road. We'll be in Pittsburgh, and then after that, nice long homestand, 3 different teams coming through. So come on down to the ballpark. 2-2 the count. Ozuna strikes out for the second time. And Lester is up to 4.
That was a pretty good pitching sequence right there by John Lester. I was just kind of watching that, taking that in. kind of challenged him a little bit by getting, got behind, challenged him with the fastball. He was a little late, and then gave him that cutter, which looks like a fastball coming down the middle, broke in off the plate, and now you're thinking as a hitter, oh, I got to get to that, and then the breaking ball for a strike, or for strike 3. Just a game inside the game.
Yep. And Lester has been one of the best over the last decade or so. 4-time All-Star, 3-time World Series champion, twice with Boston, as well as winning with the Cubs 2 years ago. He's got over 2,000 strikeouts and over 2,000 innings. One ball and one strike. Three and one. That's ripped and foul, barely. So the Cardinals are still trying to pick up their first hit in this game. And that young man wanted no part of that rocket. And I don't blame him. He's got to get a glove.
Got to get out of the way. Doesn't need a glove. He's not catching that with a glove. His hands are in his pocket. Best thing he's got going for him right there is the helmet.
Pretty close. It was 114 miles per hour off the bat of Jose Martinez. Foul back again. Boy, Jose has made himself a tough out.
I mean, you're right. And those last pitches right there, too. He's gone in off the plate for a foul ball. Another one that caught the plate, foul ball. Made a really good pitch right there away off the plate, and he's able to cover both sides of the plate. That is hard to do, especially against a guy like this, John Lester.
It's another 3-2 pitch to Jose Martinez. He can cover both sides of the plate, did so there. His ability to go the other way. Cardinals at least making Lester work. 30 pitches to the last 4 hitters. Bader went to 10 pitches. Carpenter worked the count. Ozuna did, eventually struck out, and now 3-2 again. Pulled foul.
The thing that I like about Jose Martinez is you see the different swings. You get the swing out over the plate that is just, I can't get to it. I'm just going to try to either feather it into right or it's a foul ball. And then the ball that kind of comes up in the middle and starts to break towards him, he really turns it loose. It's not like he's just swinging in the same swing all the time. He's making great adjustments. And that's what makes him a good hitter in a tough out.
Should be the 9th pitch of this at bat. Lined and caught by Chris Bryant. Terrific play by Bryant to rob Jose Martinez. And the Cardinals still in search of their first base hit. Bryant, the diving play to his left.
Dan, Tyler O'Neill called up from AAA. John Brebbia sent down. O'Neill is an imposing figure. He's a guy who can bench press 400 pounds. He told me that because of his appearance, people look past some of the things he can do. He told me I can run, play defense. I can do some things that people don't give me credit for. They only see the power. O'Neill was hitting .388 in Memphis with 6 homers and 18 RBIs in 12 games. He had 31 homers last year, but Dan, Tyler knows this is a brand new ball game. He told me, I'm up here to do a job. If I don't get it done, I know I'm going back to Memphis.
It's a tough league. John Brebbia has pitched well enough certainly to stick. He's been up and down a couple of times already. But intriguing, there's no doubt. He was part of the Marco Gonzalez deal. Tyler O'Neill. And again, worth repeating, 6 home runs in 12 games, 18 driven in. Got injured at the tail end of spring training. Mike Matheny telling us in his office today that one of the things that caught his eye is when teams would try to pick him off and how quickly he could hop up and move. And that furthered the point of what Jim was talking about. It's more than just power, but he is a physical specimen. His dad, a former Mr. Canada in weightlifting. The 2-2. Fouled back. Baez, by the way, 2 for 2, a triple, single, and 2 runs scored. Sometimes guys get too bulky, and this is a game you got to have flexibility in.
Definitely, you got to be able to move and do things. And like I said, being an athlete is huge in this game.
2-2 out to Bader, and he makes the catch. This summer, the World Cup is coming to Fox and FS1. Every match live and over 300 hours of coverage. World's biggest sporting event begins June 14th, and you can see it on Fox and FS1. Chris Bryant is driven in 2. It's lopsided right now. It's 6-1. As Bryant is tied up on a pitch in. Low throw and the pick nicely done by Martinez.
Nice job right here. Martinez staying on the bag. Picking that ball out of the dirt. Not an easy task, especially today.
I was going to say that it's lopsided, but yet the Cardinals not making excuses. But boy, they've had some hard hit balls and nothing to show for it against John Lester. But they've got to have better pitching from Luke Weaver. Been a tough start for him.
Definitely has been a tough start for him. Not really having the command that he normally has, and just a couple balls left over the plate have been hit hard.
That's normally the one thing you think about with Weaver. Really good command, in and out, and strikeouts. He's got 3 today. He has hit a man, has not walked anybody. He's given up 6 runs on 9 base hits. 1 ball, 1 strike on Anthony Rizzo.
Can't really get a read on the Cubs hitters either. I can't tell if they're sitting soft, sitting hard, or just actually getting pitches to hit. Sometimes if you're going to sit soft against the guy, it means you know he's going to beat you with the fastball, so you're going to you think that he's going to give you at least 1 or not more off-speed pitches during at bat. I don't know how guys do it, but they do. And if it works and you get pitches to hit, great.
Full count on Rizzo. over the plate, but I guess high. And a 2-out walk. First walk issued by the Cardinal right-hander. It's cold, but a beautiful day here at Wrigley. Not a cloud in the sky after snow last night. Yesterday afternoon.
I don't think there was a cloud in the sky yesterday until about 5 o'clock.
I think some were frustrated the game was not played.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, the game could have been played other than the actual cold weather.
The Cubs got a little gun shy about certainly game one, and then yesterday after all the negative feedback from the game on Saturday, which they did play, and Atlanta threw the ball around in the 8th inning. They scored 9 runs. The Cubs did to come back. Popped up. This will be DeYoung, and he makes the catch. Cubs strand a runner. We head to inning number 5. You're watching Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. Atlanta, and we'll see New York in town on Tuesday night. That'll be it for the season series between the Cardinals and the Mets. Interesting approach as Molina is at the plate. It'd be, I think, kind of fun to ask John Lester if he changed his approach at all today, but a lot of fly ball outs, and Lester, his ground ball percentage this year, it's the highest of his career. It's around 56%. But with the wind blowing in on a cold day, you know, sometimes you can change the way you pitch, manage, play in this ballpark.
I think you're definitely going to pitch a little less carefully, knowing that the wind is going to knock everything down that you make mistakes with, for sure.
Picks up his 5th strikeout, that one of Molina.
I thought Yachty got off the plate a little bit in that at bat. I don't know if
noticed that as well.
My eyes were deceiving me,
No.
or a
I
different
thought the
camera
same
angle,
thing.
or then maybe Lester saw that and stayed away from him.
There's Jed Jerko, and the Cardinals still without a hit as we play here in the top of 5. Jerko walked in his first plate appearance. Harrison Bader was hit by a pitch. Stole second. There was an error on Contreras. Went to third, scored on a wild pitch, and that's been the activity today until that base hit by Jed Jerko. And we take a look at the Kubota power stats with the Cardinals slugging shortstop. Cardinals second in home runs with 25, 10 of those on this road trip. Then all total on the road, 22. Tyler O'Neill is at the on-deck circle. We'll see him make his major league debut. DeYoung graduated from nearby Antioch, Illinois Community High School. Played 3 seasons at Illinois State. Majored in biochemistry and pre-med. And lifts a fly ball out to Jason Hayward. And this will be the major league debut for Tyler O'Neill. And a dream come true. Jimmy talked about 31 home runs last year combined in AAA with the Mariners and Cardinals. Young man from Canada, and just called up prior to today's game.
Talk about getting thrown right into the fire. I think that was your conversation earlier today. Getting a chance maybe to get somebody out there and get them into a game and get them comfortable as fast as possible. But I'll tell you what, I'm willing to bet that the heart rate going on right now in his chest is a little bit higher than normal. Sometimes it's a little hard to get a breath.
Now, what we saw in spring training is that he will strike out his fair share, can be susceptible to off-speed pitches. That's something he said that he was really going to work on a lot this year in the minor leagues. And it's 0-2.
You know, it's back to that whole thing about being in AAA and just a lot of the guys that aren't at the big league level still throw the ball down the middle when they have to. And that's the biggest difference. You know, you're going to get pitches to hit 2-0, 3-1. If you're a good fastball hitter, that's when you take advantage. Here, they don't throw the ball right down the middle.
And a strikeout of O'Neill. That's 6 today for John Lester. And a great way to head to the ballpark. Fill up at Phillips 66. Receive up to 50% off on a pair of tickets. Cardinals.com/Phillips66. Matt Bowman is into the ball game for St. Louis. He'll face Schwarber, Russell, and Hayward. So Bowman in relief of Luke Weaver. And a tough day for Luke as he struck out 3, walked 1, gave up 9 hits, 6 runs. Schwarber 2 for 2. A pair of 2-out RBI base hits. And the first pitch taken for a ball.
Right. Like to have that pitch as a pitcher right there, huh?
No doubt. I wonder if that was one of the issues today with Weaver. Wasn't getting that call, but same could be said for John Lester.
I think that Luke was doing a good job early of being on the edges of the plate. I just think when it got into more of a hitting count or needed to put guys away, the ball kind of just got back over the middle.
The 2-1 pitch. And a ground ball against the shift. Knocked down by Jerko and made the play in time. So 3 infielders on the right side. Jerko playing shortstop, not foreign to him.
Moving to his left. The ball's hit pretty good. Does a good job of staying with it. It's a good thing when the ball's hit so hard. You just got to knock it down and stick it out. If you can pick it back up, you still got a chance.
Addison Russell is 0 for 2. And that's tapped foul. A ball and 2 strikes. Little chopper hit up the middle, gloved by Carpenter, not in time. Infield hit for Addison Russell.
Another thing when I was talking about having a bunch of athletes on the team. We all know these guys are good players, but look at Addison Russell get down the line. Just a little chopper up the middle, and Carpenter didn't do anything wrong there, just too fast.
After today, the Cubs head to Colorado. And apparently it'll be nice and chilly for them in Denver. They can't catch a break right now. There's Jason Hayward to check on Russell at first. while it may be cold now here in Chicago, give it about a month or two and you get back here for a Cubs Cardinals weekend, and there is nothing like it.
A bunch of these players cannot wait for the weather to turn.
It's supposed to be in the 50s in Denver tomorrow and rain, but still that'll seem like a day off compared to what Cubs have experienced on this homestand. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Hayward. Never an easy place to play, Denver, Colorado.
Nor here in Wrigley.
Yep.
Now that you've been here for 4 days and you've had a chance to see everything, they have done a really nice job with the ballpark and the streets around, and they've opened up the concourse, put a new hotel across the street, new restaurants everywhere. I mean, they've really done a nice job here at Wrigley with this, I think, first or maybe even the second of 3 renovations that they're trying to do here, right?
Jose Martinez is pointing to the bench and saying that they did pick off Russell. Now he did not hold the tag, but maybe here. Oh, he's out. His hand came off the bag before his foot got back on there. Just a split second, and Martinez was holding the tag. I think he's right. He should be out.
Put the tag back on him. I bet you he puts the tag on his head right here, or on his back. It's hard to tell from that angle.
Surprised the Cardinals did not challenge that. That's ripped out to deep right field. And a home run for Jason Hayward. The second hit of the afternoon for Jason Hayward, a 2-run homer. His second of the year. Take a look at our Nissan drive of the game.
Danny, this is the ball that if you hit every time you come to the plate here, it's going to be a home run no matter what direction the wind's blowing. You keep the ball below the base of this, below the top of the stadium, and the ball flies out of here. Get it up into that wind on days like today that we saw earlier, no chance.
That's up the middle. A base hit for John Lester. Cubs now with 11 hits, 8 runs, and they lead 8-1. It's feast or famine right now for Chicago in this offense. 6 times they've had 8 or more runs. That's chopped off the plate and foul.
Tell you, if you're scouting this game, you think this team is the best team in the world, because what I've been witnessing today is if you throw the ball down the middle or middle up, they're hitting it. And if you throw a good pitch just like that, foul it off. Tough to pitch to a team that maybe is getting hot and having those kind of at-bats.
A ball and a strike on Almora. Jason Hayward has saved some of his best after leaving the Cardinals against St. Louis. It's now 13 RBI in 17 games against the Cardinals. The 2-2 is back to Bowman. They'll get the lead man. And with 2 outs and 1 on, the batter is Javi Baez. Baez from Puerto Rico along with Yadier Molina. Cleveland and Minnesota finished up a brief 2-game set playing in Puerto Rico last night. Seemed to be a great success for those there and for Major League Baseball. Those two were teammates in the World Baseball Classic. The 1-1. Where'd you play winter ball at? Venezuela?
Yeah, Venezuela, 1 year, 2 months. Pretty exciting. I thought we talked about this last year. I was down there when the government was trying to be overthrown by the government. And they had a coup, and I was like, I got to go.
Had enough.
When they suspend the Constitution and tell you can't go out after dark, it's time for me to move on.
So you were more worried about after dark than you were the games.
There was no games. We weren't allowed out of the hotel for a week.
Is that right?
The hotel was basically shut down for everyone but the people staying there. They allowed us into the kitchen to make sandwiches. And that was about it. Wow. Thankfully, the team took care of us a little bit, got us out of there and brought us food. But as soon as that was over with, I played a couple more games, and I asked one of the guys there that took care of the American players, I said, don't tell anyone, but book me a flight out of here. And I got on the plane. And
smart, yeah.
I told everyone like the last minute, took off.
Jose Martinez, you talked to him, and he's from Venezuela, and still the issues for friends and family back home. He sends money back usually weekly. He's told me, I just hope it gets through.
I was going to say, it's got to be tough. I mean, it's hard enough to play this game as it is, and even just have a lifestyle up here when all that's going on and back home, and you're having to worry about your family nonstop, trying to send money, don't know if it's getting there. Not fun.
And the 3-2 pitch, strikeout of Baez. 2-run homer by Hayward. We into the 6th. Big day for the Cubs offense. Tough afternoon for Luke Weaver. 4 innings, 9 hits. Bader has scored the only run for the Cardinals. Only 1 hit today. John Lester, 5 innings thus far. And then Jason Hayward had the big blast moments ago. A ball to Dexter Fowler. He is lined out and struck out. 1 ball and 1 strike. When you don't play, it feels like a road trip could last a month. And that's been the case. You know, talking with some of the players, they were anxious to get back home. They felt rushed. The first homestand, you have opening day, and it's the opening week, and some guys just getting accustomed to St. Louis and finding a place to live, all those kind of things.
Yeah, especially the new guys. You go there, and you really don't have a place to live. I mean, St. Louis is the best place for rental properties, especially if you have a family. It's just really, when you come there, you're not used to the Midwest. A lot of older homes for rent. We had trouble with that. Hard to live in a high-rise with kids.
2-2 lifted in the air, and the wind will take that to the seats.
You only have 1 day off. Opening day comes, and then you think to yourself, we really have to be ready to play each and every day. It's hard to go spend 3 and 4 hours running around the city looking for a place to stay. So you definitely can be rushed in that first week.
Remember, the Cardinals played a night game before the opener in St. Louis. It was a 6-game homestand and then right back on the road.
So many of those years that I played, we were lucky enough to open at home. You know, we went on a little road trip to the minor league, couple minor league towns, but then it seemed like we got a day or 2 at home to really get settled and ready. That helps a lot.
3-2 and a strikeout of Fowler. The first Budweiser Bash of the year, Tuesday, April 24th, in the new Budweiser Terrace. Enjoy live music. It's an exciting new area of the ballpark. You can also purchase a theme ticket, Budweiser Bash. April 24th, get a bobblehead and autograph from former Cardinal Andy Van Slyke, and tickets at cardinals.com/budbash. That's 7 strikeouts for John Lester. And a base hit for Bader. On base for the 2nd time. Take a look at our Chevy Fox tracks.
Good job by Harrison Bader going out and getting that pitch out over the plate. You watch Harrison Bader over the course of last year, spring training, and now this year. If you see him keep his shoulders level at the plate and not lean back too much, he's going to be a good player. He starts to lean back a little bit before contact, puts himself in a little bit of a hole. The bat drags, but I'll tell you what, the speed and that kind of swing right there, he's going to be a good big league player. Home runs will come.
Strike to Carpenter, who is lined out to second, and also hit one to the track in right. So you're saying with Bader, you see him sometimes dip with the back shoulder?
Yes, sir. He sometimes it looks like he just wants to lift. I know he's got plenty of power, and he can hit some home runs, but I think it's just one of those things as a young player, you let the home runs come.
Well, you'd love to run against Lester. The problem is you're down by a considerable mark in 8-1. Missed on the outside corner. And it's a ball and 2 strikes on Matt Carpenter. 2-2. Pitch count up to 91 now on Lester. Cubs will try to get him through 6, it looks like, early in the season. A lot of times starters not going longer than 6 or over 100 pitches, right around that mark. And Carpenter lifts a fly ball into shallow right center. Almora with the catch. Ozuna over 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Let's go back to his previous at bat in the 4th.
You see here, I think he looked inside. Right here, you can see him stepping away a little bit, kind of leaking out a little bit, and then he thinks to himself, okay, I'm going to get a pitch to hit. Closes up, misses that one. Now, what makes Lester so tough, he closes up, makes a really good pitch, and then the nasty slider. So, like I said, it's a game within the game. Is he going to pitch me in? Because if he does, I got to be quick. And then when he starts to go away from on the outer half, you've got to stay close and try to drive the ball the other way. And then if he sees you making that adjustment, then of course you're going to see the fastball and the cutter on the inner half.
The season high in pitches for Lester is 96. That was in his last start. He's had 93. He launched the Never Quit Foundation, Pediatric Cancer Research Foundation. John, a cancer survivor, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. He and Anthony Rizzo become very close, raised a ton of money, millions of dollars. Cancer research. Anthony, a cancer survivor as well. 0-2 the count on Marcell Ozuna. Matter of fact, when Rizzo was signed, Theo Epstein brought him into the clubhouse of the Chicago Cubs to meet John Lester. As Ozuna puts it in play to Chris Bryant. Cardinals strand a runner, their 3rd of the afternoon. Lester is through 6, and it's 8-1. (12-2) in this game. Last night in Atlanta, Freddie Freeman hit on the wrist, same spot which he had a broken bone a year ago, and did not even go to first base, just walked off and went straight to the trainer. And they said that this morning that the x-rays are negative. Thank goodness for Freeman and the Braves, but Atlanta off to a pretty good start. Braves 10-7, And 3 out in the National League East.
I'm glad he's okay, but I don't know if I've ever seen somebody just shut it down and walk right into the dugout.
Usually the guy slams his bat, throws his helmet.
Walks to first, maybe.
He's upset.
Good thing he's okay.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Chris Bryant. Braves also just signed Jose Bautista, former slugger with the Toronto Blue Jays. And Bautista is listed as an infielder.
I saw that.
Played third base.
Talked about putting him at third.
Chris Bryant in with the pitch. Been a tough day for Cardinal pitchers with Luke Weaver and now Matt Bowman. Anthony Rizzo has been on base 3 times today. Pair of walks and a 2-out RBI base hit to center in the second. And that's ball 1. Here's a 1-0. A beauty in there for a strike. For those of you that just joined us, Luke Weaver lasted 4 innings. Bowman came in the 5th, started that inning, gave up a 2-run homer to Jason Hayward. 8-1 Cubs. The pitch in the dirt. This might be one of those games, even though you've had a lot of days off early on. You think about Yadier Molina, catching a few innings here, and you got to do it when you can. Try to find innings here or there to keep him sharp.
Definitely, and I think with the cold getting stiff, you'd like to get a lot of your players some playing time when you can, and get your veterans out when you can.
2-2 the count. The Cubs are playing their 16th game. In all but 2 of those games, a Cub has been hit by a pitch. They've been hit 18 times this year. As a look at Joe Madden, number of years with the Angels. Mike Scioscia's staff, the longest tenured manager in baseball. The 2-2 inside corner, and he struck him out. The second strikeout for Bowman.
It's a really good pitch right there. That's the first time someone's really got the ball inside on Rizzo, and something about pitching in, but you got to pitch in with strikes also. And until you do that, you really don't get the respect of the hitters, like I said earlier. You just can't throw it in there. You got to get strikes on the inner half.
Wilson Contreras. He's 0 for 3. Every spot in the lineup has reached base. Check that. Contreras 0 for 2, hit by a pitch. One-0 is popped up. Martinez over and can't make the catch. It has been a busy lineup for the Chicago Cubs. Everybody with a hit, with the exception of the man at the plate, Contreras. I should say this for Jose Martinez, it's a work in progress at first base. He never played first base until he joined the Cardinals. Obviously, his bat carries him in the lineup.
This isn't the easiest place to play first base either. This is, especially after it's been changed the field is forever shrinking. I was looking at that today from up here, and you notice that the field is a little lopsided. Got the angle over here at first base, a little bit more room now, but then definitely closes down on you.
Luke Gregerson throwing in the Cardinals pen. And when he does pitch, and I would assume they're going to try to get him in today, that'll be his season debut. Lined into shallow right and a base hit. Well, you got to love how Chris Bryant runs the bases. They talk about him being an exceptional base runner. In an A1 game, a soft liner to right, he goes first to third.
It's a good pitch right here, and a good job by Wilson Contreras, just really fighting it off, not trying to do too much. Like you said, Chris Bryant playing the game hard no matter what the score. That's something that Tony La Russa talks about all the time, is you don't stop playing the game. You don't rub it in anyone's face, but you still play the game the right way.
And now Kyle Schwarber, 2 for 3 on the afternoon.
See Yachty's little head nod. I'd like to have that pitch too.
Well, Bowman now up to 40 pitches. Number 40 right there. 2 balls and no strikes. 40 pitches, and he's only recorded 3 outs.
It's a lot of pitches today. But
Previous high coming into play today was 31. His career high 50 in 2016.
talk about the weather being cold and a little tough on the changeup and the slider. That really firm grip you need to have touch on those pitches.
And it's a walk. That may be it. Be a hit this season with an adult Cardinals mesh pulled over. Tomorrow, 30,000 fans 16 and older take home this one-of-a-kind Navy pullover jersey featuring a vintage Cardinals chest logo. It's courtesy of AT&T. And get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Colton Wong is part of the double switch. He'll take over at second base for Carpenter. And the Cardinals will have a pitching change as well. That was in the 28th round in 2006, and then was acquired by the Padres from the Cardinals 2009. That completed the trade of Mark Orel to San Diego. Cardinals got Khalil Green back in that deal. This pitch was San Diego, 1 year with Oakland, and just finished up 3 years in Houston. Signed by the Cardinals as a free agent, signed through 2019. So the bases are loaded. Here's Addison Russell. And a strike. Before it's all said and done, Luke Gregerson really could be a big weapon for the Cardinals. Signed Greg Holland for the tail end of games, and then you look at how others could be slotted in. Gregerson possesses a really good slider. Hyundai pitch arsenal from a year ago.
You know, like you said, get these guys going. The back of that bullpen just really shrinks up the game. Starters get deeper and deeper into the game as the season goes on. It's a nice feeling to have when you're a manager and you can look at the 8th and 9th pretty much can be taken care of. Got to get you maybe the 6th and 7th and hopefully just the 7th.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Good check swing. Held up, 2-2. You may have gotten an idea of how it could start to unfold for the Cardinals with Bowman going 2 innings and longer into games. Maybe he's slotted in as more of a long man. The 2-2 pitch. Gregerson last year 65 games. Did have 1 save. Year before he had 15, and in his first year with Houston he had 31. The 3-2 pitch. Could be 2. Out at second, the turn by Wong. It's a double play. So Luke Gregerson comes in, gets the double play. And it's 8-1 Chicago. Plays of the game. 6 innings, 2 hits allowed. Cardinals did not pick up their first hit until the 5th. Walked 1 and struck out 7 in 96 pitches of work. Our Budweiser plays of the game. Eddie Butler is the new pitcher. His numbers thus far in our Chevy call to the pen, and it's also a Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. From Chesapeake, Virginia, Eddie Butler pitched with the Rockies. He was a first-round pick in 2012. Cubs picked him up for James Ferris. That happened back on the 12th of May a year ago. Francisco Pena at the on-deck circle. Martinez takes a pitch low. 2 balls and no strikes. 8-1 our score. Martinez has been called out on strikes and also lined out to third. 3-0. Butler was a big prospect for a while with Colorado. A lot of talk of Butler along with John Gray being a 1-2 punch. Never worked out in Colorado, and he's found a home in the bullpen here with Chicago. Leadoff walk.
How many times you see a young player come up, go to Colorado, and just have a hard time figuring that out, and then they get out of there, and then all of a sudden start to get into their own, and it's got to be a tough place to break into the game.
Or how many times do you see a veteran position player go to Colorado and all of a sudden figure it out?
A little bit more.
Yep. Darryl Kyle, a prime example of a pitcher that went there, did not work out, comes to St. Louis, rediscovers his curveball, and becomes a 20-game winner. So Francisco Pena will pinch hit for Yadier Molina. You try staying sharp as a bench player, and then try doing it as Yadier Molina's backup. Good luck. And it's a base hit into right field. The son of Tony Pena, Francisco, with a base hit into right. Plaza Tire Fox Tracks, and the first 2 have reached for the Cardinals here in the 7th.
Two guys on first and second that are sons of former major league players.
That's right. It was the Cardinals' first hit today with a man on. Jerko is walked. He has singled and takes a ball. Slow roller and a base hit. So 2 hits for Jerko, and the bases are loaded.
Nice little way to get yourself a hit. Good sinker, just swung over the top of it, but and as a hitter, you got to take whatever you can get.
So bases loaded for Paul DeJong. Twice he is flied out to right. One swing of the bat, and he could make this interesting. Cardinals have been so impressed even though that DeYoung strikes out at a high rate 29 times to lead the team, how even keel he has been. Not too high, not too low. Not the kind of guy that comes in the dugout after strikeout, screaming, yelling, throwing bats, helmets. Mike Matheny said he's heard one time DeYoung get frustrated in his time of being in the big leagues, and they all had to check to make sure it was him.
It really come from you?
Never know in this ballpark. Now today the weather is cold, clearly. Wind is blowing in. But you think about Saturday, the Cubs won a ball game after trailing by 8 runs in the 8th inning. You never ever know in this park. Here's a 1-2.
Had a nice conversation with him today about just a mental approach when you're struggling, and as far as what to rethink about what you're trying to do at the plate and not really get too worried about what you think the pitcher is trying to do, and really just go out there and look for a pitch and hit it. Stop and not guess what they're trying to do to you.
3-2. Crowd a bit restless after the walk. A base hit to right, infield hit by Jerko. 3-2 the count on Paul DeYoung. Ground ball foul. You leave one out over the middle of the plate, and he will do some damage. Because of that, Steve Cishek is up and throwing in the Cubs pen. Cardinals have only Pham and Garcia left on the bench. Love to have Mike Matheny make a decision on which guy if you get to that spot. 3-2 pitch. Cishek pitched the other night. He's off to a good start for the Cubs. Ninth pitch of the at-bat. And it's a walk. That's good to see. A walk from DeYoung, and that brings in Martinez to make it 8-2. Joe Madden has seen enough.
It's a really good bat right there by Paul DeYoung. I think that those are the things, the small things that you need as a player to get back on track.
For DeYoung, his first RBI coming not via the home run. That's it for Butler. Base is still loaded and nobody out. former closer with Miami. Brief time with St. Louis, then it was off to Seattle, and now with Chicago. I think it's interesting with his type of delivery. We saw at times he could struggle against left-handed batters, and you've got Wong here, then the switch hitting Fowler. And Joe Madden did this the other night, not going with a lefty in this spot. And the first pitch is strike.
You say that, it's interesting with 3 lefties in the pen. Days off. You know, it's been what? They've only played now 3 games in the last 6 days. Get some guys work.
0-2. We talk about how that was a good at bat for Paul DeYoung. Young player, get something going. Same could be said here for Colton Wong. Something positive. The 0-2. Inning started with a walk. Pena the base hit. Jerko infield hit. Bases loaded, walk to DeYoung. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fouled back and a good cut.
Tell you what, these guys are not easy to hit. Coming from down there. Coming off the bench. It's a little tougher.
You say the left-handed batters get a little better look?
A little bit, but it's still strange. You don't really see a whole lot of guys coming from way down underneath like this.
And it hit him. A run will score to make it 8-3. Bases loaded and still nobody out. Barely caught the jersey or the shoulder here. And things are starting to get interesting. That's the first RBI since the 8th of this month for Colton Wong. And a ball to Dexter Fowler. You get Fowler from his better side, power-wise. And still nobody out. Fowler puts it in play. Deep in the hole, it's short. Out there, the turn. They throw wide. Here comes a run to score.
Dexter
So
almost
two-run
getting
score.
it in there too. Sorry, Danny. I was kind of in awe of watching how quickly those guys in the middle of that infield turned that and then throwing it away. But you're right. Look at the score now, and anything can happen in this ballpark.
So it's a fielder's choice. RBI, E4. That scored the second run. So Fowler, your runner at first base. Cubs have committed 3 errors today, and 2 of them have been by Javi Baez. Here's Bader, Pham at the on-deck circle, and that's a ball.
There's that good swing right there, staying level, just get the hands through the ball. Quick enough to pull that ball off the plate. Foul. He keeps that swing, I think he's going to be very successful. Get away from that lean back and upward swing.
And a strike. One and two the count. Just missed. Bader fouls that pitch off. Four runs here for the Cardinals in the top of the seventh to make it 8-5. And Bader pops it up to the right side. Rizzo over and made the catch. Nice play by Anthony Rizzo.
A nice look at this right here. Fighting the sun. Not an easy play, but a lot easier for the home team than it is to be a visitor running over there into that basically corner of the dugout.
The pinch hitter will be Tommy Pham. The Cardinals are left with Greg Garcia on their bench. Luke Gregerson came in with the bases loaded, 1 out, part of a double switch, and got the double play. Cardinals have come back with 4 here in the top of the seventh. The first pitch taken for a ball inside. It's good to see that Pham is available, dealing with the sore groin. And Tommy lifts it in the air to center. And the catch is made. Time to stretch here at Wrigley. It's now an 8-5 ball game. First man will face is Jason Hayward, and the Cardinals trailing by the score of 8-5. After Chevy called to the pen. Another way to put it, it's been ugly. 7 walks, 1 strikeout, and 2 1/3. And as he's trying to get a feel for it again here in 2018. Cardinals have talked about the movement. That's not the problem. It's just a lack of control and location. I thought it was interesting today in Mike Matheny's office. We asked him, you know, when can you use Holland? And he said, well, we're trying to get him right, clearly, but if we needed to use him to get the final 3 outs today, we would. We do have confidence. That's certainly something that's not lacking. We just got to get them right. And Hayward lifts a fly ball into shallow right. Colton Wong makes the catch.
I think it's partly a little bit not ready to go, partly a little bit trying to be too nasty and press a little bit, try to make a good impression on your new team. And so those things add up to having not your best stuff. So be interesting to see as he gets a couple more outings under his belt what happens. I think you start to find it, get a little bit more comfortable each time.
So here is Tommy LaStella. And a ball low. Like what we've found is that you can throw on the side as much as you want. You can face college hitters, which is what Holland did do, but it did not simulate a big league camp. All eyes are on you, and if there's a mechanical issue, facing big league hitters, you might get away against college pitchers that you don't against big leaguers.
I mean, definitely with the stuff. College hitters don't see guys with stuff like this. So if you're not sharp, college hitter's not going to tell you that. If you're not sharp in the big leagues, you're definitely going to find out really quick. But like I said, I think just not having control and almost being too nasty was a little bit of the issue. He's a guy that doesn't throw the ball down the middle of the plate too often anyways.
Here's a 3-1 pitch. Holland to LaStella. And a 1-out walk. Take a look at the delivery here for Greg Holland. I think falls off hard towards the first base side.
Got an aggressive delivery. Kind of a little bit of a violent fall off, like you said. And, you know, sometimes if that's just off a little bit, definitely tweak your delivery and cause things not to be exactly how you want it.
Albert Almora. But you get the feeling this game is far from over. You know, when you think about a major league team that commits 3 errors, which the Cubs have done in this ball game, teams have a way at this level to make you pay. It was the 8th walk issued by Holland in 2 2/3 thus far. Here's the 0-1. Mike Matheny likened it to waking up on Christmas morning. You got a new toy and
can't wait to play with it.
Yeah, that's what he did with Holland. Threw him right in the fire. I don't think, though, you can blame Mike. I mean, you get him. The reports are he's ready. Use him. But if all goes to plan, and if he's the kind of guy that they anticipate, he's going to be nasty.
There you go with that filthy slider right there. Not only is it tough to hit, it can be tough to catch.
Carl Edwards Jr. has been throwing in the Cubs pen. So 2 outs, and here's Javi Baez. Throw that slider outer half. Pena will set up there, I bet. You get Baez to pull off some pitches. He's tripled, singled, scored 2 runs, flied to center, and also struck out. It was just the other day that we saw Baez hit that 2-run homer. That was against Greg Holland. No balls and 2 strikes.
He's definitely going to remember that and beware of that sinker down the middle of the plate. Be surprised if he even throws him a fastball for a strike in this at bat. Another slider here.
The 0-2 pitch to Baez. The fly ball lifted out to left. Ozuna makes the catch, and Greg Holland has a scoreless 7th inning. It's 8-5. To the top of the 8th. Carl Edwards Jr. Back in 2013, he came along with Mike Olt, Justin Grimm, Neil Ramirez from Texas in the deal for Matt Garza. It's been a good one. So here we go, a 3-run lead for the Cubs and a strike to Ozuna. He struck out twice and grounded out to third. One ball and 1 strike. Edwards made his debut against the Cardinals. Busch Stadium in 2015. A former 48th round pick in 2011. This is where the shadows in a day game at Wrigley become a factor.
Definitely starts to creep a little bit, especially at this time of the year. The shadows mean the cold creeping in too.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And Ozuna strikes out for the 3rd time. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Ford, going further so you can. Cardinals have struck out 8 times here today. Here's Jose Martinez. He started the 4-run rally for the Cardinals with a walk back in the 7th. He is lined out and struck out. Don't hear about many 48-round picks making it to the big leagues. Initially, it committed to play college baseball for Charleston Southern, the Buccaneers. Wanted to play with a high school teammate and friend. His friend passed away in a car accident, and Edwards said, "That's it. I'm not going to go to college," and then started his pro baseball career. Jumps on that pitch that was up, and a base hit into right. On base for the 2nd time.
It's a pretty good draft if the guy with this kind of stuff was drafted in the 48th round.
Right.
A good job by Martinez. Just stays behind the ball and doesn't try to do too much with that pitch out over the plate. Just keeps hitting line drives every time he goes up there.
Here's Francisco Pena, took over for Yadier Molina. He singled to right and scored back in the 7th. The Cardinals would love to see an opportunity for Jed Jerko to tie the game up. He's at the on-deck circle. 1 out runner at first. That's Martinez. Short lead there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Do you know how, without looking at the clock, you know the game is getting a little bit long?
The birds are here.
The birds are starting to circle. They know what time it is.
How do they know?
I have no idea.
And the 1-2. Dominic Leone throwing in the Cardinals' pen. Same thing in San Francisco. They know right about the 7th, 8th inning they come in.
They fly over and think, should those people be gone by now?
Right.
I want my food.
The 2-2. Strikeout of Pena. With 2 outs, it's Jed Jerko on base 3 times. Walked in the 2nd. A single in the 5th and again in the 7th.
You really stretch this lineup out with Paul DeJong hitting 8th. You can get, what are the chances, you say, in the 8th inning, if the 7th place hitter can get on, you got a pretty good chance to get a tie game with 1 swing of the bat. You don't get to say that too often with an 8th place hitter.
2-0. That's DeJong on deck. Drew bases loaded walk back in the 7th. Contreras out to visit with Carl Edwards Jr. He's had a couple of those close pitches not go his way. I wonder if that's part of the conversation, just slow him down.
Either that or Contreras kind of showed up the umpire so much he thought he might have to get out of there for a second. Start over.
That might have been it.
It did. It looked, he stayed there for a while. I don't think some of the umpires would be too excited about that. But to be expected sometimes if you think the umpire's missing pitches.
Ooh, good cut. 2-1. Well, years ago, the Birds would be here about an hour earlier, but games go a little bit longer. 2-1 pitch. 3-1.
It's like they know when the shadows are here, and that's when people start to get out. They found themselves some food over there, and they'll make their way around the entire set of the stands. Chasing a fan away already.
It's a big pitch here. Chance to potentially bring the tying run to the plate. And it will. Isn't this something? The power of DeYoung with one swing of the bat could tie this game up. Cardinals at one point were down 8-1. Jed Jerko on base for the 4th time. Paul DeYoung represents the tying run. Runners at first and second. And strike one. Colton Wong on deck. Redbirds have stranded 4, and they have just 5 hits today, but the tying run at the plate. Here's the 0-1 pitch. The 1-1. Isn't this something here? Hitters count, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Yep, Carl Edwards Jr. definitely struggling now with this command. This is where you always wonder. I know everyone's playing in it, but the cold, like you said yesterday, coming out of that warm bullpen, now getting into the game and settling into the game with the weather, sometimes it can be a factor. Everyone's out there playing in the cold, but not everyone handles it the same.
Two balls, 1 strike on Paul DeYoung. Ooh, 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. Check swing. And did not go. Runners off with this next pitch with 2 outs. Runners at first and second. The 3-2 pitch. tomorrow will come your way at 6:30. All 3 games on Fox Sports Midwest. Homer Bailey and Carlos Martinez game 2. Luis Castillo and Miles Michaelis in game 3. And if you don't join us on television, join us down at the ballpark with great giveaways all weekend long. Cardinals.com/promotions. Theme nights, kids special day on Sunday, mesh giveaway, bobblehead, all coming up this weekend. Dominic Leone is the new pitcher. Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, and Wilson Contreras. Bryant has driven in 2 today. On base 3 times. Fouled back. And the 1-1. Into right center. Tailing towards Fowler, who makes the catch. He just missed that pitch.
The ball was loud off the bat.
Sure was.
Straight up. Good fastball up in the zone. Just a little bit behind. 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
You think about a lefty that's got an uppercut. You were one of those guys. Chris Bryant, from a right-handed perspective, he's got that.
Got a little bit of a left-handed swing. You're right. So big and just so easy with the swing. So smooth.
Now Rizzo. And a ball. Cardinals in the 9th. We'll have Wong, Fowler, and Bader. And Rizzo pops it back in foul. One ball and 1 strike. That's Morrow on the left. And the lefty on the right. That's Wilson. Here's a 1-1. The 2-1 pitch. And a base hit. Rizzo starting to get hot. 3 hits and a walk today.
Doesn't mean too much with the shift when you hit the ball hard through it right here. You get a little bit of a breaking ball up and just you hit it on the nose, and when you hit the ball that hard, nobody can get to it.
So Wilson Contreras will be the batter. He singled to right back in inning number 6. Was hit by a pitch in the 2nd.
Slider right there. Tight. Tough to pick up.
There's 4 innings from Luke Weaver. Inning in a 3rd. Nearly 50 pitches by Bowman. Gregerson came in, got a double play with the bases loaded. Holland a scoreless 7th, and now Leone here in the 8th. 0-2 on Contreras. And the 0-2 out of play. Right field, Fowler coming in near the line and makes the catch. And with it, it's 2 outs.
Really good slider right there by Leon. He's got good stuff. He's sharp, short arm, those strikes. Keep talking about this bullpen. I can only see it getting better and better as the year goes on.
And Alex Reyes waiting in the wings. There's Kyle Schwarber. And a pair of 2-out singles in the first and the second. And lines it to short. And with that, we head to the 9th. So for the most part today, pretty good work out of the pen. Wong due up when we come back. Oh, 8-5. Cardinals last inning sent the tying run to the plate. Brandon Morrow's the Chevy call to the pen. 5 innings. And so far so good. And ball 1. Colton Wong was up with the bases loaded, was hit by a pitch back in the 7th. Ian Happ takes over in left field. Schwarber out of the game. One ball and 1 strike. Morrow pitched in every game of the World Series last year with the Dodgers. That's tap foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Puts it in play back to Morrow. Underhands to Rizzo for the first out. The top of the lineup, Fowler and then Bader. Cardinals left on their bench Greg Garcia. And if Fowler or Bader could reach, you would have Greg Garcia pinch hit for Leon, and that would be the final bench player available. Dexter is lined out to left, struck out twice, and grounded into a fielder's choice. One and one. Again, we're on the air tomorrow at 6:30 back home at Busch Stadium. Fowler with a fly ball. Happ just into the game, makes the catch for out number 2. It's up to Bader to extend the ball game. Hit by a pitch, stole second. Error on Contreras, wound up at third, scored on a wild pitch. Fly to left, single to center, and popped out. And the Cardinals down to their final strike. Cold day here at Wrigley, sparse crowd. Cubs trying to earn a split in the 2-game series. 3-2.
Good job laying off that pitch right there. Just tough on a young hitter right here. Coming in facing your veteran closer. Don't get a chance to see guys like this very often.
A strikeout of Bader, and that's how this series comes to a close. The Cubs earn an 8-5 win in Game 2. And the road trip is finished, and it's back home to St. Louis tomorrow to take on the Reds. Cubs hold on. 8-5 the final. A lot more coming up. Jim Hayes will take you inside the Cardinals clubhouse. 8-5 the final. Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live next.